A couple of things to realize. If you're being hired, especially for a big brand like Amazon, the expectation is that you are experts. If you are being perceived as experts, you must trust your own gut and really let loose.
Zimmer. Title card, Dawn of the Seven, cut to black.
Lost in space, but that's okay. Climb aboard the brand spaceship today.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Brand Spaceship. I'm Ryan Sheffer. I've been editing for way too long. Jared's been editing for less long. And because of that, he has a thing or two to teach me about what I don't know that I know.
I thought you were going to put me on the spot. And
teach me, Jared. So we're working on this Amazon project, and we have done nothing but make them happy, right? And then I saw the edit, and what did I say?
He said, it's not good enough.
I was like, this is not good. We are not turning this in. Everybody must stop what they're doing and focus on making this great. And by the end of the week, where do we get?
It was good. It was very good.
But what did the client say?
The client said, amazing. Wow. Can't believe it. Bunch of emojis. When you get emojis, you're in a good spot.
I am going to tell you right now, this is the key thing. The key thing is the first edit was the answer to the question, not more questions. I'll get to this later. And we can go ahead and just play that first video at this point. And here's the thing. I feel comfortable playing this and shouting out Heon because he's literally one of the best editors I've ever met.
Yeah.
So we're going to put this like up front. He's absolutely fantastic. He doesn't even realize how good he is. And the reason this is important to share is because even someone as good as Heon can do the situation we are showing, which is follow the rules, give the answer. This is what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to show all these brands for Amazon, and I'm supposed to show a little bit of this graphics. Here it is. Okay, done. That is not actually the job.
I'm back.
I can see that. This is gonna be fun.
All right, so here's what's going on. This is just footage edited together.
When people stop killing each other.
I'm back.
Is it the right footage?
Hello,
Yes, it
everyone.
is. Does it also have some of the graphics? Yes, it does.
You need a therapist.
We haven't seen them yet. That's why my main note was that there's very little. But it's just footage, more footage, things edited together. It's not wrong. It's all the correct footage. It's all the correct moments, but it's very, very, very boring. It's also just to music. Okay, we still haven't. Let's see. Where does the next graphics come in? There it is. There's
There
graphics.
it is.
And those graphics look great. There's just not enough. Okay, I'm going to pause here.
They're very brief. So, I mean, how far into it are we right now?
We're 50 seconds, and we've seen two of these. Okay. Do you recall what my main notes were? And do you recall the difference between those two edits? What did I complain about? Maybe we pulled this
okay.
up.
We had a really beautiful storyboard that contained some studio footage of people doing things against gradient backdrops. We used that in the storyboard as a connective tissue to go from sub-brand to sub-brand. The first edit did not take its time in those color gradient moments. And because of that, it didn't feel connected at all. Sizzly stuff with some, style stuff sprinkled in, but it didn't feel connected.
To me, we're still speaking in vagary. So I'm going to go ahead and jump in.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to just read my notes. I found them in the Slack channel. The first edit was exactly what it was supposed to be. It didn't break any rules. It followed the storyboard to a T. And they also followed what the client said. Once we have an edit together that has all of the rules, right? This graphic, this video, this graphic, this video. I'm gonna sum this up as this is called the answer to the question. The actual job of an editor is to discover more questions to ask.
Oh.
Sometimes you give the answer at the end. But your goal actually in pacing a story, telling a story, being an editor is to bring up questions in someone's mind. So here's what I wrote. Not sure what's been discussed, but I would personally 3x the amount of text and graphics. More upbeat music. Right now, I barely know what the aesthetic is because a lot of the videos themselves have graphics. To sell that vibe, which is excellent, we need way more IMO. Everything in there is great. We just need a lot more. I actually remember this being harsher than it was.
probably just your mood. You remember the mood, not the words.
Yeah. I also knew I couldn't scare anyone away. That plus new music and a lot of sound design. This will be great. I'd also shift the focus to executing the style for this video versus anything else. Really need to sell this and how high-end we can deliver, and it will result in everything else going smooth. I CC'd you. If you get the first cut right, everything else is easier. That is specifically important in a very large project like this where there are many deliverables. Your first deliverable is crucial. And I hate to say it, we made them so happy with our design, our direction, and our storyboards that if what had happened was that we delivered a V1 that was lackluster, they would have assumed that their perception that we were smart was wrong, and it would have freaked them out and it wouldn't have been good. Okay? If we're supposed to turn this in soon, I think I should chat with everyone tomorrow. The style is great. We just need a lot more of it, blah, blah, blah. And I basically rant on this for a while. That's enough. The point is, I hadn't been involved, and the team took it and they executed it correctly. This is the thing, correctly. This is what the storyboard says. This is what the client says, so we're going to do it. A couple of things to realize. If you're being hired, especially for a big brand like Amazon, the expectation is that you are experts.
Hans Zimmer. Title card, Dawn of the Seven, cut to black.
If you are being perceived as experts, you must trust your own gut and really let loose. You have to open yourself up to how to express a style. You can't just do exactly what is said. It's not about graphics versus video. It's about keeping people on you hear the term, keep them on the edge of their seat. What does that mean?
Well, they want to see what's going to happen next.
They want to see what's going to happen next. When do you care what will happen next?
When you care about what's happening right now.
To a degree, it's when you don't know what happens next. It's very simple. It's actually, this is why I said it's about questions and answers. Are you generating questions in someone's mind? Or are you generating answers in someone's mind? The second that somebody's watching this, they go, oh, this is a video where Amazon shows off they have a bunch of cool shows. Tuned out. We're done.
Yeah.
We're done. We're not paying any attention. We're already gone. There's a saying in the film industry, specifically amongst editors, you can be anything but confusing. This is a saying where you're allowed to be funny, you can be scary, it can be heartwarming, you just can't confuse the audience. I'm going to add one more thing. You can be anything but confusing or boring. Mm-hmm. And what boring is when I already know the end. I don't care if this is a murder mystery where I solve Knives Out in the first 5 seconds, or if it is a commercial for Amazon. It's the same thing. Do I know what is happening already? Do I know the end? And if the answer is I do,
you know something, spill it.
I'm tuning out. I do not care anymore. Building up emotion from an audience member is all about building up questions in their mind. Being at the edge of your seat is a situation created not by your butt position, but by your mind, where you're not sure what happens next. You're only not sure what happens next when what happens, going back to editing, and I want to just sort of preface this to say where the writer, the editor, and the director sit is a very nuanced, vague thing. And this is going to be a long, I can rip for fucking hours on this. But some writers go as far as like putting the pacing. When I write a script, I put cuts back and forth. I really try and time out the edit. I've started as an editor, so I think that way. Many writers, though, are really great at dialogue. They're verbose. Like I assure you that the highest end writers often, like if you're David Mamet and you come from a background in the theater, you're writing dialogue. Your editor is finding out what to delete, right? Sometimes it's different, but I just want to put that preface in because a lot of what I'm going to talk about is editing as storytelling, which we talk about all the time. But in this case, it's assuming that the editor is given their editor's cut. There's a direction put in place. There's some sort of a script. Even in a commercial, even in this, there's some sort of script, right? We had a storyboard for this Amazon project. There was some idea of start here, go here, right? But the story is much more about rhythm. I'm going to call it like rhythm and questions. That's what we're going to say storytelling is. Rhythm and questions. Putting some bit of information in front of an audience member that triggers a response from them. And that response should be a question. You know, the movie might suck, but the point is we've hooked you with something. Right?
There's an interview with J.J. Abrams I watched at one point where he talks about the idea that creating intrigue is just expanding Pandora's box.
What are stories but mystery boxes?
So with Lost, you think about every episode, every season gives you more questions, and you feel like there's this huge web of unanswered mystery.
How long can you delay the answer?
Right. And his philosophy is forever. Don't tell them ever. If you open Pandora's box, then people are going to be dissatisfied.
I've never heard this interview. This is exactly my perspective. I'm going to go ahead and share V1 now. It's very different than a show like Lost. There might be some people who watch this that are like, how can you compare commercials to storytelling? I still think it's the same thing, and we can talk about it, because if you can do this in commercials, you can definitely do it in story. I'd actually say maintaining intrigue when you don't have a story is sometimes trickier.
Yeah.
In some ways. Okay, so we're going to play this now. Starts the same. We open Pandora's box. Oh, look how fast this is. Fast. Oh, there's more stuff going on. Oh, what was that? Maybe, there's like a frame around these pictures. Oh, what's going to happen? Oh, every time I think I know what's going to happen, something changes. Does that make sense? There's so much going on. I don't know. Like, I keep looking because there's enough dynamic stuff happening, right? So one thing to consider is the difference between, like, in a story, which is what I pitched with this story of this kid. In a story, it's story plot points that are the answer. In the case of a commercial or a promo like this, a lot of it is knowing what you're going to see next, right? If I'm like, oh, that was the Lord of the Rings show that's on Amazon, and that was Mrs. Maisel, it'll be some other Amazon show, right? And if I'm right, you lost me, because then I go, there's nothing more for me to learn here. I have no questions, whatever. But if all of a sudden, like, the world morphs and text shows up, I'm like, that was weird. You literally just have to be like, that was weird. And that is the buy-in for the next one. So your goal is never to stop surprising.
Yeah.
Right? And whether it's surprise or it's a question, it's the same thing. You don't give the answer. The answer is boredom. The second I know the meaning of life, I stop doing anything.
Put that on a bumper sticker. The thing for me with the V1 edit that really plays into that and elevates it, in my opinion, is there's like, yes, the pacing, the speed, and, you know, jumping around, but the teasing of the next line of copy while those during the sizzly stuff, there's like little, you can see the outlines of the letters. You're starting to build the next thing before it comes, and give just enough of a tease of like what's to come.
This is you actually being a word-oriented person.
Yeah.
So like that tease, I understand we have an intention there, and it's a good one. I don't think it's a bad idea to have intention behind every graphic you do. My point would be, it literally could be anything. The only reason why it can't be anything is actually because the client will say, why is that there? We don't understand what that is, what that represents.
Yeah.
Right?
It's cool.
What's that?
Because it's cool. Do you
what
like
is
cool?
Cool is just capturing my attention, right? The Ryan's masterclass in editing is basically what you're saying J.J. Abrams said. You just always ask questions. You don't give them answers. The point is delay. Do not tell them what this is. That is the key. You have to ask questions people care about.
Yeah.
If you want to take people's interest for a long time, you have to plan these big questions. We're not doing that. We're just trying to be interesting. So it's just surprise, right? In a way, we're making a comedy, right? We're making a comedy.
Totally.
It's just a series of surprise moments, right?
Yeah. And we're hilarious. Like, we're just...
And that has been the brand Spaceship. Jared is hilarious. I'm just Ryan. And here's the thing. We'll finish with this. Why does The Matrix have a sequel?
Why does The Matrix have a sequel?
Yeah.
Well, because there's a lot...
I didn't come here to tell you how this is going to end.